Welcome, everybody, to Taste Different Gaming News. What's on the news today? Nintendo Switch takes a leak. Oh, sorry. Nintendo Switch 2 leaks reveal a new screen size plus backwards compatibility. All right, good news. If you want Joy-Cons that are backwards compatible so you can take the drift from your old Switch to your new one, rumors of Nintendo Switch 2 have circulated for a while now, but they could be coming to a head as we get closer to a potential June launch, assuming the follow-up to the original Switch hasn't been pushed back next year. Now, I don't think a June launch is going to happen. I'm going to put that out now. A new batch of rumors covering everything from screen size to backwards compatibility have surfaced, stoking expectations for whatever Nintendo has in store. Let's start with the Joy-Cons. All right. We were supposed to offer new controller connections according to previous reports. Some of the way they phrase this article is a little weird, so I apologize if it sounds like I'm having a stroke. According to previous reports, more details via IGN, courtesy of a third-party manufacturer, MobaPad, have emerged to collaborate last week's report on new Joy-Cons from Spanish publication Vandal. So I heard from a guy who heard from a guy who heard from a dude. The report has said that the Joy-Cons are supposed to be larger than the current versions and have a different way of connecting to the Switch. Instead of the current sliding rail, they're supposed to use electromagnetic suction. Weird word. Additionally, the SL and SR buttons are tipped to be metal, with new buttons coming to controllers as well, though it is unclear what they'll add to the mix. As for the current controllers, MobaPad says that the existing Joy-Cons and the Pro Controller will still work for the Nintendo Switch 2. Additionally, the cartridge slot will be able to work with current games, so backwards compatibility, rumorly. Though it is unclear if a game built for the Switch 2 will work with the older Nintendo handheld. Never happens. It never goes backwards. A larger Switch, the leak claims that the Switch 2 will be larger than the current generation, with the screen getting a rumored upgrade to 8 inches to display with 1080p. 8 inches ain't that big. The current Switch 2 has a 7-inch screen and only supports 1080p when docked. The new docking station is also slightly changing, according to these new reports, with the next Gen dock able to allow 4K resolution. That's a lot more Ks than it's gotten now. Interestingly, MobaPad says the new dock will feature a damping bracket on the back to allow for a greater range of adjustable angles. It's unclear what purpose this feature would serve. Current Switch docks are small toaster-looking pieces that just hold the Switch. They said they are third-party docks with smaller profiles that don't feature the walls covering the Switch. Now, the article had some weird phrasing and other things like that. And if you have been keeping up with rumors regarding a Switch 2, a lot of these sound plausible and a lot of these sound nice. Simply just nice if they come to fruition. And some of them just kind of sound weird. So I'll let Nick jump in first. My biggest thing of excitement is the fact that it could do 4K. I don't honestly believe that, but we'll see what it does. Nick, what do you think? Which of these rumors excite you, and which of these rumors go, eh?
They're all pretty eh. The most eh one is the 8-inch display, going from a 7 to an 8-inch. Whoop-de-doo. It's nice that it would support 1080p in handheld mode, I guess, is what they're trying to say there, because it only supports that when it's docked currently. I don't know what the additional buttons would be. Since it's backwards compatible with older ones, I would assume that these additional buttons maybe don't have much feature set to them. I don't know, because I mean it'd be hard to like have a game that utilize unless they make it to where you can only use your old Joy-Cons and your old Pro controller if you're playing Nintendo Switch 1 games, right? And if you're playing Nintendo Switch 2 games, you have to use a newer controller or new Joy-Cons. I do like the whole magnet system.
Question for you though. Sorry. Did
Mhm.
did the Wii U could play Wii games?
Mhm.
But I believe that was the same setup. You could only play with the Wii controllers, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
So you're probably right. It's probably in that same setup.
Right. Even
Please
the Pro
continue.
controller, because I think even with the Pro controller, if you're playing a Wii game on the Wii U, you have to use the Wii Pro controller
Mhm.
versus the Wii U. Because I have a Wii U Pro controller, and I tried to play a Wii game with the Pro controller, but it didn't work. And so I was like, oh,
Gotcha.
I have to use a Wii Pro controller in order to play this game.
So it's
it's kind
not
of stupid.
actually backwards compatible. It's just backward mimicking.
Yeah, I mean it works if you're playing, you know, that particular piece, but you can't just use it. So that would make more sense to me, is where if you're playing an older game, you can use the old Joy-Cons, the old Pro controllers, but if you're playing a newer game, that would make more sense for the buttons, right? If there's additional buttons, that makes more sense. Because then the newer games would utilize those buttons, whereas the old games would not. So larger Switch, I don't really care about. 4K is good. Get with the times, Nintendo. So 4K is good. I think with the dock, I think what they're going to have, what it sounds like to me, is they're going to have like a more of a, instead of like having the toaster type of setup where it has the two walls and you slide it down in the center of it. I think they're going to have like a, maybe with the adjustable ramp on the back, basically what they're going to have is they're going to have like just an more open, like at least in the front, open slot where you sit your thing in. And then you could also, because you could then, it could have two purposes, right? One is the docket, but maybe you could also play that in a handheld mode and tilt the dock back so that way you can kind of play it, slanted and play in the handheld mode. So you can kind of prop it. So instead of the Switch having a prop on it, which it probably still will, a kickstand, the dock itself will also have somewhat of a kickstand. So you could dock it on there and kickstand it and play, utilizing the dock, right? So the dock is multifunction. It can dock to an external television as well as being used as a kickstand in the same sense. So yeah, I mean, it sounds like we're going to get. The thing that doesn't excite me about a Switch 2 is not the 4K or better graphics or whatever. It's just I just wish it wasn't another handheld. I just wish it was. We've talked about this before. I wish Nintendo would go back to a proper console, and not this hybrid handheld console dock thing, because I think it really just limits and holds it back more than anything. And mine's always docked. And if they had both, if they had like the handheld and a dock, like two different devices like they used to have, like a 3DS and the Nintendo Switch or whatever they call it, I would buy both of those. Like I mean, I have a 3DS. Always bought the handheld in the console, so I'd rather them go back to that, but they're not going to do that. So we're just going to get a more up to date version of Switch of the Switch, right? I'm just hoping. Ultimately, what I'm hoping is not necessarily what the Switch can do with the magnet sides or with backwards compatibility. I mean, backwards compatibility is good and all, or the dock, the 4K dock. The biggest thing for me is the specs in the Switch 2. What are we putting in it? What's the CPU? What GPU chipset are we putting in there? Like, what's the inside's going to be, right? That's really what I want to know, is how much power this thing's going to have.
And that's one thing we never truly hear about rumor wise. I agree with you. Go back to a two system setup handheld, home console. They won't do it. The Switch has made way too much money, and they're going to stick with it. They're going to milk that. I don't take mine out of the dock either. Just like you, mine stays in the dock. I'm married. It doesn't get to come out and play. It stays on that TV. That's it. And I prefer it that way because I like handheld, but there's different experiences between handheld and your TV. So I would prefer to play most games on my handheld, on my TV. And then there's certain experiences that, you can play on handheld and just it feels right, in my opinion. And it's just an opinion, no reason for people to get pissy, but certain games feel better in handhelds, certain games feel better on your TV. Now, me and Nick, we both have nice TVs. We both have setups that we're happy with, and I want a better visual experience. Now, if I'm taking a road trip, I will bring I'll bring my Wii U and hook it into the car, and pop a little screen on, and we're good to go. Or my kids, they have 3DS, DS, and Nicholas also has a Game Boy Light. So we've got plenty of handhelds to play with, and you still have a phone. So the home thing is the on the road thing is covered. The out and about thing is covered. Nintendo needs to get back to the home console experience. The Switch is a great system. It is a very good system. The problem is, like I said, it's limited. It's very limited. It's basically it's 2 generations behind where PlayStation and Microsoft are right now. They're doing their own thing, and that's what Nintendo does. Nintendo has always done, and they're going to continue to do. But they used to make some of the best consoles. I mean, the GameCube is literally my favorite Nintendo console. I think. I think that's when it was in its prime. But we're not going to get that back, and I understand that. But they really should focus, as a gamer, they should focus more on the home console. Now, granted, I don't care. That's an extra inch, Nick. All right, that's an extra inch. All right, maybe that. So a larger display is fine for those who will take it out. I mean, that's up to people. I do love the ideal of having 4K, but I don't see. I don't know enough tech wise to see them putting a 4K machine into a Switch sized controller screen and all that stuff. I don't. I'm not tech savvy enough to imagine that. My cell phone can do some really cool stuff and great screen, but I just don't see the Switch doing it. I mean, it has to stream certain games to be able to play them. Which was that? I think it was Resident Evil 7 that was streaming only, or 8. I can't remember which. And it did a terrible job with them. Nintendo can't go continue with that. If they want a next gen game, they need to have a next gen console. And no matter how many magnets they shove in the Switch 2 or buttons they add or inches they give it, it's still going to be limited because it's a handheld. But I also have hope that it'll be great as well, because I do love my Switch. It has some amazing games: Mario, Kirby, the Mario Sunshine, and Mario 3D that came out. I love that. Being able to play that on my
Odyssey?
Switch is no. They came out with the Mario Sunshine and
they
Mario.
It,
yeah. So they re-released it.
The 3-game thing.
Yes. Yeah. I love that. Mario Odyssey is like one of my favorite games on the Switch. Well, it is probably my favorite game on the Switch. But it has some amazing games on it, but they're all first party. Third party games aren't that great on the Switch. There's some that are really good, and there's some that are fun, but none of them are Nintendo quality great, especially the graphics department. The graphics department, Nintendo seems to be the only one who can make a round corner on a character. So, kudos to Nintendo, but these third parties, it's not the best looking games, even when they're fun. Don't get me wrong, even when they're fun, they're just they're lacking in certain areas. So, but hopefully, the Switch 2 hopefully all the rumors are wrong. It's a home console and it's going to be badass. It's going to be like the Xbox and the PlayStation had a butt ugly baby and Mario gave birth to it. And it's a fantasy, but it's my fantasy, damn it. So, but hopefully the rumors are true. Nick, what else do you got?
I just want a home console. I want it to be look like Kirby, and you stick the discs in its mouth.
I love the idea, and I love the shirt. Yeah. Oh, and it changes colors with the game that you're playing
based on the game that's in there.
Oh, yeah. Now my nerdgasm's kicking on. Sweet. All right. You made it to the end of the episode. Thank you very much. What do you think? Are you excited for the Switch 2? Do you think these leaks have any bearing in reality? Any of the leaks excite you? Any of them disappoint you? Let us know what you think. Let us know if you're a Nintendo fan at all, because I was born on it, raised on it, and I'll die on it. But I still like meta consoles too. So don't forget to hit those notifications, hit that like. I love the like button. But know it's better than like? Subscribe. Subscribe's a damn good button. It's a quality button. Makes you a true adult. Hit that button. And until next time, see ya.